The hum of old neon casts tired shapes across cracked pavement, the kind of Carolina night where loneliness and hope blur in the drizzle. Eric's chest tightens when he spots Tiana, the woman who cancelled their blind date, standing in the grocery parking lot with two small kids pressed close, rain slipping off their hoods. For a flash, he wonders, did her heart break tonight, or just mine? Her face is streaked with tears, kids silent at her legs. Compassion spikes through Eric, burning past his own sting of rejection. When their eyes meet, the truth lands harder than the rain. Her cancellation wasn't indifference. It was panic. Now, stranded and trembling under a flickering bulb outside the store, she looks like someone who's lost the battle to hold everything together. Viewers, does heartbreak ever take you somewhere unexpected? Would you step in, or turn away? Stay with me. This story might change what you believe about trust and compassion. Now let me take you back to the beginning, the quiet before everything collapsed. It should have been an easy night for Eric, clean shirt, old cologne, a promise of something new in the air south of Durham. The Waffle House glow seeps over linoleum as he waits, tapping the phone, reading and rereading, sorry, can't make it. His hands steady a warm cup of weak coffee, but his chest is heavy from too many letdowns. He scans the faces, families, tired servers, a couple laughing in the corner, and for a minute, he lets himself feel both invisible and exposed. That tension of wanting to hope, but bracing for letdown, gnaws at him. Eric nearly calls it a night. Instead, he lingers in the booth, collecting crumbs of dignity in the form of small talk with his waitress. Every story has a starting point, and for Eric, it's the moment he steps into the damp night, still stinging from rejection, only to hear that faint, unmistakable sound, someone crying in the dark, sheltered and yet so vulnerable it cuts him more deeply than the text ever could. Rain blurs the orange glare of the streetlights. Eric's footsteps splash across the puddled parking lot. Tiana stands hunched, her jacket cinched tight, shielding the children. A tiny girl wide-eyed with confusion, an older boy scuffing his sneaker on the wet ground. Eric recognizes the ache in Tiana's eyes, the battle between pride and desperation. He hesitates, wanting to respect her space, but the moment is raw. You okay? His voice crackles as softly as the neon sign above. The kids clutch her tightly, uncertain. Tiana's lips clamp together, her voice is almost a whisper, it's been a long day. Sensory details. Rain drumming on metal, the sickly sweet aroma of melting candy in the air, the sharpness of cold, color the scene. Eric swallows the awkwardness. Every instinct tells him that leaving would be easier, but something keeps his feet planted. Cliffhanger, does he let her be, or cross an unspoken line to help? Rewind hours earlier. Tiana, already late, gets the call, job's gone. She wrestles a cranky toddler into her car, cradles bills she can't pay. The battery clicks, nothing. She waits, panic clawing at her as clouds roll in. In this small city, hope feels thin, the kind you ration, not spend. The afternoon drags, efforts to find a jump or a ride lead nowhere. She checks her phone to cancel the date, breath thick with guilt. Every minute tests her strength and resolve, holding herself together for the kids while the losses pile up unseen. In the present, as Eric returns from his car with snacks, their fingers graze, a jolt passes, shy but present. A glance, a silence charged. Tiana's wall cracks, I wasn't always this lost. That confession hangs heavy. Emotional chemistry emerges in the way neither can maintain eye contact, but neither looks away. Tiana bristles at Eric's offer to help, voice sharp with pride, we're fine, really. The need to appear strong for her kids wars with the exhaustion in her gaze. Eric recognizes the awkward space between offering help and risking offense. He tries a different angle, mentioning his own rocky months, hoping to bridge shame with shared humanity. She softens, but not all the way. They share a quiet, nearly smiling moment as the youngest child tugs at her sleeve, hungry and tired. Eric stands in the drizzle, not moving until Tiana finally sighs, "Okay, maybe just for a while." Her voice is raw, relief and fear mixed in. Sensory tension lingers, the parking lot, rain, blinking lights carve the memory deeply. Does support open her up, or make things more complicated? Warmth inside the Waffle House clashes with the chill outside. They find a booth, the kids' eyes light up at syrupy treats and crayons. Conversation turns tentative, Tiana guarded, Eric gentle but uncertain. Dialogue is simple, close to the bone, echoing worries of rent, jobs, and keeping kids hopeful against the odds. They trade quiet stories, Eric's job at the hardware store, Tiana's hopes for the children. Humor and heartbreak trade off in thin, authentic waves, every laugh has a shadow, each silence a heartbeat of anxiety. Sensual tension rises in the way their knees brush under the table, eyes sometimes lingering. By the night's end, trust flickers towards something new. As Tiana leans back, shoulders slumping in tired gratitude, Eric wonders if kindness, offered, not demanded, can truly change both of their broken nights. Eric sits alone, the quiet hum of his apartment sinking in as raindrops patter against the window. Memories flicker, failed relationships, a quiet loneliness that tightened around his heart over years. He holds a faded photo of a smile that never reached his eyes. Tiana's voice breaks across the line moments ago, asking how his day went, but he hesitates, burying his fears behind casual words. The weight of vulnerability tugs at him. Meanwhile, Tiana watches her children sleep, carrying the heavy knowledge that life hasn't been gentle. There's more beneath her tired eyes than a struggling single mother, wounds she keeps hidden, scared to share. The moments between them hum with unspoken truths and a delicate tension that neither dares to name. What secret does Eric guard beneath his quiet exterior? A slow drive winding through rural backroads offers space for truths too long silenced. The car's low light softens their edges, while outside, crickets chirp in the night. Tiana's voice is brittle as she recounts dreams deferred, guilt over broken promises to her kids, and moments of quiet despair. Eric listens, his own admissions following, his loneliness, the fear that connection might only lead to loss. The stretch of road becomes a fragile bridge, allowing two wounded souls to inch closer. In this shared silence, touches linger. A hand brushing against hers, eyes meeting with raw honesty. It's a slow burn, a dance of hesitation and hope. The children's laughter fills a small living room as Eric helps with homework under yellowed lamplight. The scene is punctuated with everyday chaos, crumpled papers, whispered worries about tomorrow's rent, and scraped knees kissed better. Tiana watches, torn between relief and fear. The protective instincts in Eric stir, complicating feelings tangled with guilt and hope. Parenthood here is exhaustion wrapped in love, survival woven with small acts of courage. The past nights of uncertainty press down, but moments like this spark possibility, however fragile. Words falter where emotions swell. Eric and Tiana confront their fears, the scars carved by old wounds and the pride holding them safe yet alone. Arguments flare, sharp looks, raised voices, then the quiet aftermath of regret. Tender apologies follow, humility softening the edges. They hover close, breaths caught between apologies and longing. The sensual tension grows, a fragile lace between them, the promise of something real but easily broken. Whispers curl through town, neighbors exchange sideways glances, and judgments float on humid Carolina air. Tiana feels the weight of invisible eyes, Eric hears rumors questioning his intentions. They share quiet moments of resilience, whispering encouragement beneath porches and inside kitchen walls. The pressure shapes a new layer of fear and hope, testing what fragile trust they've forged. But love, here, must face more than private struggles, it must survive public scrutiny. Can their bond withstand a world that looks on with suspicion? Eric and Tiana find a rare quiet moment, one of those nights when the house is still and stories finally spill out. Tiana sits at the edge of her worn couch, hands pulled into her sleeves, voice low. She admits the hardest truth. Eviction wasn't the first time she lost steady ground. She's shielded her children from an old family rift, hidden calls from a hospital years back, the pain of carrying it mostly alone. It's why she bolted from the date. Shame lingered longer than she wanted to confess. Eric listens, not with judgment, but with the awkward grace of a man who's lived his own losses. He finally confesses his own secret. The reason he hesitated to love, rooted in fear of letting someone lean on him and then losing everything. They sit in the hush, bags unpacked, as raw honesty softens the weight they carry. Emotional chemistry surges, a gentle brush of hands, something wordless but true. Now that honesty's on the table, will truth bind them together or drive a wedge between wounds? Everything comes to a head one rainy afternoon, a clumsy joke taken wrong, old wounds suddenly raw. Stress bubbles over into frustration, voices raised before silence smothers the room. Eric storms out, haunted by familiar doubts. Tiana curls tight, feeling another door close, blaming herself for reaching out at all. The kids watch with wide eyes, caught in the fallout of grown-up fears. The house feels emptier than ever. That night, regret sits heavy. Eric finds himself alone underneath the old magnolia tree near his apartment complex, world blurring, unsure if he's made the same mistake twice. Time passes, the mess between them left hanging. Small kindnesses remain. Eric drops off groceries on the porch without knocking. Tiana fixes the loose step by the stoop herself. The children, sensing the shift, draw them quietly back together with questions and laughter. One night at a local playground, they run into each other by accident. A slow, embarrassed smile grows between them. Even that awkwardness is something precious. Words are traded in honest, halting sentences, apologies and small confessions. In these plain, everyday moments, something shifts. Trust feels possible, fragile but new. Will forgiveness allow them to step forward, or is the past too strong to shake? The story circles back to the first night in that dim parking lot. This time, the moment isn't just heartbreak, now it shimmers with possibility. Eric recalls what he almost missed, how quick he was to assume the worst. Tiana sees herself clearer too, not just as a woman drowning, but as someone still willing to reach for hope. Standing together where everything started, quiet words remake the world between them. Neither pulls away. Their hesitation was never about doubt, it was about protecting fragile hearts. As the rain begins again, they share a look that says, without needing words, that maybe second chances really do exist. The moment lands like a revelation. Their hardest nights didn't break them, they made room for something real. It ends not with fireworks, but with simple human truth. A porch. 2 cups of barely warm coffee. Tiana's children asleep behind the door, Eric's jacket hanging from a chair. They talk quietly, laughter wound tight with nerves. He doesn't promise forever, she doesn't ask him to fix everything. Instead, there is a promise to keep showing up, imperfect, afraid, hopeful. As dawn breaks, Eric says, sometimes the road brings us together when we least expect it. A hush lingers in the air. Tiana presses a note into his palm, not of love, but of gratitude and faith for tomorrow. He leaves, glancing back to see her framed in the doorway, hope returned to her eyes. To everyone listening, has life ever thrown you onto a road you never chose? When heartbreak met kindness, what did you do next? If this story touched you, like the video and share your thoughts below. What would you have done in Eric's shoes? Because, sometimes, the hardest roads lead us exactly where we need to be.